Hey everyone, today we're going to pull back the curtain on a holiday we all think we know, Valentine's Day. But we're going to go way beyond the hearts and flowers to uncover a story about a completely different kind of love, a love that actually gives life. So let me ask you, when you hear Valentine's Day, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, right, it's roses, chocolates, fancy dinners, heart-shaped everything. It's become this global day for romance. But is that the whole story? Because what if I told you the real origin of this day is, well, way darker and honestly a lot more meaningful? It's not a story about romance. It's a story about rebellion, about defiance against an empire. And it ends with sacrifice. To get it, we've got to go all the way back to the 3rd century, to the Roman Empire, and meet a priest who decided he just wasn't going to follow the rules. So here's how it all went down. The emperor, Claudius II, had this idea that single men made way better soldiers because they weren't distracted, so he just straight up banned marriage for all young men. But this priest, Valentinus, he believed marriage was a sacred gift from God, and he wasn't having it. So he started performing weddings in secret. Well, you can guess what happened next. He got caught, arrested, and thrown in jail. And then, on February 14th, he was executed for his defiance. So this is the guy, Saint Valentine. He wasn't some soft-hearted romantic. He was a rebel. He believed so deeply that love and marriage were worth fighting for that he literally went up against the most powerful man in the world and paid for it with his life.
And the legend says that while he was in prison, he became friends with the jailer's daughter. Right before he was let out to be executed, he managed to write her one final note.
And that's it. That's where the tradition comes from. The very first Valentine wasn't a lovey-dovey card. It was a goodbye letter, written from a place of courage and sacrifice. That simple phrase we all use was born from something incredibly profound. And here's something wild. His name, Valentinus in Latin, it doesn't mean lover or anything like that. It means strong, powerful, valuable, courageous. I mean, his name perfectly described his character. The love he stood for was a courageous love, not just a sentimental one. Now, this whole story of sacrifice, it isn't just a cool piece of history. It's actually a perfect real-world picture of a much bigger, much deeper idea about love. An idea that's laid out in probably one of the most famous verses ever written, John 3:16. So let's break that down. We're going to look at this verse in 3 pieces. First up, the why. What's the reason, the motivation behind this love?
You know, we tend to talk about love like it's this magical thing that just happens to us. We fall in love. But the way this verse starts, for God so loved, it implies a reason, a purpose. This isn't a random feeling. It's a conscious, deliberate choice.
And who is this choice for? The world. And in this context, that means literally everyone, all of humanity. There are no exceptions, no conditions based on who you are, where you're from, or what you've done. It's a universal, unconditional love. Okay, so that brings us to the second part, which is all about the action. This love isn't just a feeling inside, it's an act of giving something. Think about it. On Valentine's Day, we give things like flowers that are going to wilt, or chocolates that get eaten. But the love being described here, it gives something of ultimate, irreplaceable value. It's not about giving something you have plenty of. It's about giving the single most precious thing you have. And right there, that's the true measure of this love. It's not found in feelings, but in sacrifice. It's defined by what you're willing to give up for someone else. It's the same principle we saw with Saint Valentine. He gave his freedom, his life. This love is defined by the ultimate gift. And that brings us to the third and final piece, the result. What's the promise of this love? And this is where it goes beyond anything we can really wrap our heads around. So what's this number, 26? Well, in the Bible, there's a chapter, Psalm 136, where the same exact phrase is repeated 26 times. The phrase is, "His steadfast love endures forever." Now, when something is repeated that many times, you know the author really wants you to get the point. The message couldn't be clearer. This isn't some temporary, fleeting emotion. This love is permanent. It's unbreakable. It's eternal. But the promise here is actually even bigger than that. It's not just about a love that lasts forever. It's about a love that gives you forever. The ultimate result of this sacrificial love is the gift of eternal life, an existence that death can't touch. So, Let's just put it all together. What have we got? First, we have a love that is a conscious choice. It has a reason. Second, we see that its true measure is sacrifice. It gives what is most precious. And third, it comes with an eternal promise, a life that never ends. In the end, the story of Saint Valentine, this rebel priest, and the message of John 3:16, they both point us to the exact same place. They point to this image, the cross and the heart combined. It's the ultimate symbol for a love that isn't just about feeling something, but about giving life itself. So I'll leave you with this question. This Valentine's Day, when you see all the hearts and flowers, what if we thought about it differently? What if love is less about what we can get and a whole lot more about what we are courageous enough to give? Thanks for tuning in.